Today I'm not cross-stitching, I'm not sewing, I'm sitting here talking about my tattoos. I made a tattoo vlog about a month ago and I got a comment recently asking if I could do a tattoo tour video, and I like watching tattoo tours other people made myself, and so I thought it would be fun to do it. I'm not heavily tattooed by any means, as you can see, but I have quite a few, maybe about 30 tattoos at that point. So I thought I could talk about their meaning, although most of my tattoos don't have any meaning, at least any deep meaning. I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it, tattooed, okay? And I will talk about pain and if I had any issues healing them. And just a little disclaimer before I start, I know style-wise my tattoos are all over the place, but I just can't commit to one style, okay? It's too many great artists, too many great styles out there for me to just start getting only one style tattoos. And I thought about what order should I go for, if I should start with my oldest tattoo or if I should go from top to bottom, but I decided that from oldest would be cool because you can see how my style changed and how I started to be willing to pay more and even travel for my tattoos. And yeah, okay, so let's start with my oldest tattoo. I will keep looking down because I have a list of my tattoos here. So the first tattoo that I got was a geometric watercolor scroll. I didn't know much about the whole tattoo industry at the time. I educated myself in terms what to expect and what to look for to make sure that this studio is safe, but I didn't know many artists, and so I just looked through what's available in my city and I found that one artist, Soul Tattoo. I will put all the Instagram handles in the description box of all the artists that I will talk about. And she had a flash sheet with this like geometric watercolor tattoos, and I just wanted to have a tattoo for a very long time, like since I was a child basically, and I liked it, and so I thought, yeah, this is it, I'm getting my first tattoo. It wasn't painful at all. I remember that after that appointment I thought that the pain was like someone was scratching my thigh really hard, and the placement I went for it's my upper thigh. I thought about that placement because I wanted something that would be easy to hide. I think in that terms I did a good job, although I regret that placement a little because I couldn't get a big thigh piece later. And actually at the same session I got a little heart, like only line work, tiny heart that you can see here. It got kind of reworked later, I will talk about it later, but yeah, it was at the same session. And another tattoo was by the same artist and it's very similar, so I thought it would be fun to have like a symmetrical tattoo on my other thigh, so I asked the artist if she could get that design but remove the watercolor part and make it dot work so it looks like a rock kind of. And it's like I said, symmetrical on my other thigh. I got it about half a year later and it was probably in 2015 or 2014, I can't really remember, but yeah, something about that time. And then I discovered that in the same studio there is another artist that I liked her style. I am not really into that style anymore. It's like a sketchy kind of style. I don't regret tattoos I got from her, I got quite a few, but I'm not really into that style anymore. And it was a wave and palm tree. I got it on my inner ankles and I wanted just something to, let's say, represent my love for holidays and exotic places. I really like to travel to some tropical places and I really like the way palm trees look, so I thought that I would like a little something on my ankles so when I have like shorter pants it would be visible. Pain-wise, this tattoo was not bad except those little dots that are on the wave. They are directly on my ankle and these few dots really hurt. It's not big, so it wasn't long, it was totally bearable, but yeah, it was painful. And I forgot about the artist, it's Steam Shade, and she's based in my city, like I said, in Wrocław. And next it was a rework, kind of that heart. I discovered this artist also in my city. She's called Acapulco Tattoo, and she has this really minimalistic style. and yeah, it's basically this is her style. And I asked her if she could turn it into like a little galaxy with a heart planet, and I really like what she did, but it was back when I thought I would only have a few tattoos here and there, so I wanted to go for this minimalistic style. It's not the case anymore, and probably I will have this covered at some point. I like it, but I want to be more covered, if that makes sense. So I don't think it will work, and when I get the rest of my sleeve done or my chest, then probably I will have this covered. And then after that I got this Millennium Falcon tattoo. I just wanted to like extend this tattoo, and I thought that this would work well. I was crazy about Star Wars. I used to be. I really like it still, but I'm not just like a die-hard fan anymore. But yeah, I really like the tattoo. I think placement looks cool, but it didn't hold well. It's really like fine lines, so it's often the case with these kind of tattoos. But yeah, I really like it. I really like the placement, and like I said, it was by the same artist, Acapulco tattoo. It wasn't painful at all, like it was nothing, but it is really small, so no surprise. And then I got flower on my hip, and it is actually a matching tattoo with my mom. We got it on Mother's Day a few years ago, and it was by the same artist that did my palm tree and ocean wave steam shades tattoo. She just got a flash sheet on Mother's Day for like mother-daughter or mother-son tattoos, and I asked my mom if she wanted to go for it. She didn't want, actually. At the beginning she said that I was crazy and she wouldn't get any tattoos, and I wasn't surprised. I didn't expect her to say yes, but after a few hours actually she called me and she said, oh yeah, screw that, you know what, screw that, let's go for it, let's do this, why not? And she didn't want to go for any visible placement, and I thought it would look good here on the hip. And it was quite painful actually, because there is a bone here. My mom didn't think it was painful at all, so I felt a bit silly that I have a few tattoos and I really found it painful, and this was my mom's first tattoo, and to that point it's her only tattoo, and she didn't really think it was painful. And then I got this panda sushi tattoo on my other hip. It was by a tattoo artist, Cocos Pink. She's based in Warsaw. At that time she was in Poznań, other city in Poland, and she had a guest spot at my city. I thought that it would be nice to get something symmetrical on my other hip. It's not like style-wise, it's not matching at all, but I don't know, I just wanted to go for my other hip, and she had this design on her flash sheet, and I really liked it. I really love sushi, and I love her Coco Sparkles kawaii style, and I fell in love with that design. Pain-wise, again, on the hip it was quite painful. It was bearable, but quite painful. Healing was not easy too. It was leaking like crazy for like 3 days, but I think it looks good now healed. And at that point she only been tattooing for a year, and I was really amazed at how good her tattoos are. And yeah, it became a longer relationship. I got a few tattoos from her that you will see later. And then I got this little BB-8 tattoo. Like I said, I used to be a die-hard Star Wars fan, and I still think that BB-8 is like the sweetest robot in the whole universe. Before him, I thought that nothing can beat R2-D2, but then, yeah, this silly ball was introduced to us and I fell in love with him. And so this artist, Steam Shade, that did my ankle tattoos and this flower, she had like a discount during Christmas time a few years ago, because Christmas time, at least in Poland, is not the best time for a tattoo artist. I think basically because people are spending too much money on Christmas, so they don't want to spend on tattoos. And yeah, I thought I would go for it. I would get me a little Christmas gift. And I really like it. I also like the placement. It's really small. I didn't know where to put it. I thought this would be good, and I still really like this placement. And then I got my Tamagotchi tattoo on my thigh. Basically, when it comes to my legs, I got a lot of like sentimental tattoos that are related to my childhood, what I like to do during my childhood, and I really love Tamagotchis. The artist that did it for me is Żuk Tattooing, and she's also based in Poland, and I got that tattoo when she was on a guest spot in my city. She has, like, you can see this neo-traditional style. I really like her style. And when it comes to pain, it wasn't painful at all. The position was a little bit awkward, but overall it wasn't painful. And I think at that point I really discovered that I really like neo-traditional tattoos. And next tattoo I got was this Powerpuff Girls tattoo that was done by Coco Sparkle, like my Panda Sushi tattoo. And I went to another city to tattoo convention to get that. She drew that for me, and I get it because I really like Powerpuff Girls. I think it's the best cartoon ever, maybe except for with SpongeBob. I knew that I would get a Powerpuff Girls tattoo at some point, and when it comes to pain, it was quite painful actually. I didn't expect it to be painful, and to this day I'm not sure if it was because the artist had like a heavy hand at that point or what, but it really was more painful than I expected. And another tattoo I got was my arm tattoo. It was first big piece that I got. I got it for free because I won kind of like a contest, tattoo contest. So this artist, it's the same that did my BB-8 and all, Steam Shade. So she had a contest at her Facebook. She asked to write your like idea for a tattoo, and she wanted to pick one that she liked the most and tattoo it for free. And so I've written that I would like to get a mermaid astronaut, and yeah, I won, and I still like it. It was my first big tattoo, but I don't like how crowded it is, like the background, so I will get this reworked actually, so it will flow better with the rest of my sleeve. But yeah, I think it looks cute, and look at that little octopus. Oh my god, she's so cute. When it comes to meaning, it doesn't have really any meaning. I just thought it would be like absurd, funny idea. I really like mermaids, I really like galaxy. But when people ask me, I sometimes say that this means that no matter circumstances, you can become whoever you want. But it's not the real meaning. I mean, I stretch it a little. I'm not into this life coach stuff. But yeah, sometimes when people ask me what it means, I think that they kind of expect tattoos to have meaning, so sometimes I say this, but it's not true. But it could be. And then I got a Sailor Moon tattoo, also by Coco Sparkle. You can actually recognize her kawaii style. And like Powerpuff Girls, it's like the same placement, and it was also quite painful. And I got it also at a tattoo convention, but this time in my city, really close to my home actually, so it was nice. And like with Powerpuff Girls and Tamagotchi and all, it's like a sentimental thing from my childhood. I used to watch this a lot. I don't watch it anymore, but yeah, I used to. And actually the next day of the same convention, I got that avocado tattoo by the same artist again. I really like avocados, okay? I really like avocados. And pain-wise, it wasn't that bad, so I think that front of my thighs are really painful for me, but sides not very much. And then I traveled for a tattoo for a first time. So my next tattoo is by Mitch Stallman. I had been following him on Instagram for a few years at that point, and I actually thought I would never get tattooed by him because I thought it would be crazy to travel there and spend a lot of money on a tattoo. Not that he's particularly expensive, but I think when it comes to UK tattoo prices, it's okay. But for Polish people, tattoo prices in UK are crazy because Poland is a lot cheaper country than the UK, and I think that generally prices for tattoos in the UK are like 3 times bigger than in Poland for like a similar size, similar like reputation artist. but at that point I thought that I can afford it, so why not? He only opens booking like 4 times a year, so I waited for that, and I emailed him my idea and he agreed to do this. So yeah, we made an appointment. And what this tattoo is, it's a portrait of Philip K. Dick. If you don't know him, he's a sci-fi writer. He's written, for example, Do Android Dreams of Electric Ships, the book that Blade Runner was based on, and also some other books that you probably watched movies that were based on these books, like Minority Report or Total Recall. I will show you also the photo that this tattoo was based on. And this ship is just an electric ship, like with a cable sticking out of it. And yeah, it's a reference to Do Android Dreams of Electric Sheep. And at the bottom is a broken poker chip. It's also a reference to one of his novels, Paycheck. And also on his collar there's a word reality written, because Philip K. Dick was like haunted by reality. He would ask what reality even is, and actually I didn't plan it, but during the session Anwish said that this color, like a white color, looks really empty, and he asked if I wanted to get something written there. And yeah, I quickly thought about reality because it sticks to me how Philip K. Dick was haunted by it. And pain-wise, it wasn't bad. Actually, I thought that like an elbow ditch, I thought it would be more painful. It wasn't that bad. It was a little bit awkward to heal, but yeah, not as bad as you could imagine. Then I got a script tattoos under my knees. They are by this artist WLK_Kayle on Instagram. He's a Polish artist. He's based in Silesia, I think, but he was on a guest spot in my city again. And I also really wanted to get a tattoo from him because he specializes in calligraphy, and I really think he is so talented. Oh my god. And he's so well known in Poland. Like, if someone approaches me and asks about any of my tattoos, it's almost always that tattoo, and people that are interested in like a tattoo scene in Poland always recognize this tattoo, and they always know, and they always ask me, oh, nice tattoo, is this WLK? And the meaning behind this tattoo, it says nothing is real on one knee and very strange on the other knee. And these are like a super short lyrics from Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane by the Beatles. And I'm really obsessed with the Beatles. I've been obsessed with the Beatles my whole life. But why I got these particular ones are, originally I wanted to go only for Very Strange because it's like an inside joke with my dad. We say that to each other like very often. But I wanted something symmetrical on my other knee, so I went for Strawberry Fields Forever because these songs are related. They are on the same subject, like the childhood of John Lennon and Paul McCartney. This tattoo was not painful at all. I don't know if that's what is not painful for me, or if just that artist is that's gentle. But yeah, it was very easy. And the next tattoo I got was this bat head. It was a flash sheet. I really like bats. Not like I know like a lot about them, but I just really like the way they look. And it was done by an apprentice actually, also in my city, Ilama Tattoo. And pain-wise, it was not very bad. I mean, it was easy. It took a while because it was an apprentice, so she wasn't very fast. But I didn't mind it because I knew what I was going for. It was an apprentice tattoo, it was very cheap, and I really like it. It's really cute. I love this bat's face. And then I got little dots over my nails. It was my first hand poke tattoo done by Martyna Hand Poke, also in my city, Wrocław. They were quite painful for a tattoo this size. It was quite hard. But I'm really happy I got them, and they don't have any meaning, they're just dots. And then I got this Mario, two tattoos, like Mario related, this plant and a little mushroom and a star. I don't know if they have any like a name in English. They were done by Tattooing, the same artist that did my Tamagotchi, and yeah, they are the same kind of like a sentimental childhood tattoo. I really liked playing Mario when I was a kid. They weren't painful at all. Them and script like under my knees. I think placement was not the best decision I made because I got this gap on my knee that I can't go like for a regular knee tattoo because there's not enough space there, and so I really don't know what to do with my knees now. And so if you have any ideas or suggestions, then leave them in the comments section below. I would appreciate it because I want to get my knees tattooed at some point, but I really have zero ideas what to get there. And then I got a Gameboy tattoo on my upper thigh. It was by an artist also in my city, but I won't put his Instagram in the description because the experience wasn't very good. It wasn't like horrible, but I really felt like unwelcome there. But I quite like that tattoo. It's also like I said, sentimental childhood tattoo, and it needs a touch-up, but I don't want to go back to this artist for a touch-up, so at some point maybe I will ask some other artist to do that touch-up for me, although I feel a bit awkward to ask someone to do that, but it really doesn't bother me that much. And pain-wise, it was like a little painful. It's very high on my thigh, so the skin there is like very sensitive. And then I decided to travel to Liverpool to unleash trauma again, and I got my Ada Lovelace tattoo. So she was considered to be the first programmer ever. I mean, at least by some interpretation, because it's not like white and black. You cannot say like 100% who was the first programmer, but by many people she is considered to be the first programmer, and I'm an engineer myself, and so I am really proud that the first programmer was a woman. I wanted to get something related to my job, and I decided to go for it. And she has horns, because I really like the style of horns that Unleash does, but it doesn't have any meaning. But also, like with this tattoo, I sometimes say that the meaning of it is that during the time that she lived in women were not welcomed in science, and so she went like against everyone and yeah, did her job, and so she was like a devil. When it comes to pain, majority of it wasn't painful, but that elbow, oh my god, it was so painful. It was the worst tattoo pain that I got to this point. I don't have places tattooed that I considered by most of people to be the most painful, so like ribs or chest, but yeah, that elbow was really hard. I actually have a photo when Unleashed was doing this elbow, and I think that I really look like I was questioning my life choices at that point. Oh yeah, oh, it was so painful. I really don't want to get my other elbow tattooed because of that, but I probably will. And yeah, next I got this Burning Disney Castle tattoo by Cocos Pink again, and I really wanted to get a Burning Disney Castle tattoo because I kind of like disagree with what at least like old school Disney fairy tales teaches us, that women are all princesses and we should wait for a prince to just come and rescue us. I don't hate Disney, okay, I like their movies, but yeah, it's kind of like a feministic tattoo a little bit, and I have a plan to get a burning church on my other thigh, like a matching burning church. And pain-wise, it wasn't very bad. At the bottom, close to my knee ditch, it was quite painful, but during healing, oh, it was so bad actually. I went back to my job like the next day, and I sit at my job all day, and when I sit like for at least half an hour or more, then when I stood up, oh my god, it was such pain. It was so painful, like close to my knee ditch. It felt like my skin would rip. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it was very painful. It was not pleasing to heal at all. And like for 2 or 3 days I was afraid to like unbend my leg. And then I got this hop, like this plant that you put in the beer, hop tattoo. And I got it at a convention in Poland, but it was by Baldwin. So he's from Liverpool. He's actually an owner of this tattoo shop that Mitch Stallman works at. And I really like his style, like traditional / non-traditional style. And I wanted to get something related to beer. So I asked him if he could do a hop tattoo for me at that convention when I actually was there getting tattooed by Mitch. And he said he had time still, so we made an appointment. And pain-wise it wasn't bad, it was very easy. And actually this tattoo experience was one of the best in my life, because Nick is like very nice, he's really talkative, and you are so distracted from pain because he talks with you. He's just, I don't know, he's just so nice, and he's such a fun person to be around. Not like my other artists weren't nice, but he's really like easygoing, and yeah, you just feel so welcomed. And I think, yeah, just because of that, it's one of my favorite tattoos. But besides that, I also really like the tattoo, and I also think it's cool that he did that for me because he's a big beer lover himself. And yeah, the meaning, I got it because I love beer, and really strongly hopped beer in particular. So yeah, that was it. And then actually like 2 weeks later I got this like a mashup of dandelion and tribal. I got it by an artist called Ósmy Biton. He's based in Wrocław, and it's very much his style, like this hand. He does a lot of hand tattoos, like not like on hands, but like, you know what I mean. I actually had an appointment with him for like 3 weeks later, but he posted this design on his Instagram and I found it so hilarious. Like, I appreciate all the tattoos that are out there as long as they were well made, but it's like makes fun a little bit from like dandelion tattoos, like a typical girl tattoo, and tribals that were a big thing like in 90s and early 2000s, I guess. And they're just such a cliche. Not to offend anyone, I really appreciate a good tribal tattoo, but yeah, I just found these designs very funny. And I got it on my inner arm, which I was very afraid of, but it wasn't very bad. The position that I was in was more painful than the tattoo, actually. It's a very awkward place to get tattooed at. And like I said, I had an appointment with him 3 weeks later to actually get my other inner thigh tattooed, and I got a French carousel. And yeah, it's also like a sentimental tattoo. I really like French carousels. And like I said, I got it on my other inner thigh, and it was a little bit more painful because it goes higher on my thigh. So like the spike at the roof of that carousel, yeah, it hurt, okay? Let me just say it hurt. And then I got this little crescent moon on my finger. So when I got these dots, I was a little bit afraid that someone at my job would say something. Like, I work at a huge corporation and they are usually okay with tattoos. I don't know if we are allowed to get some visible places tattooed, but I think so, because I've seen a lot of tattooed people in my company, even with like proper finger tattoos, like all fingers. But I wasn't sure, and I wasn't sure if my manager would say something, but I know he noticed it, but he didn't say anything. And so I thought that, yeah, I could get more, and I decided to get this crescent moon. I also got it hand poked by the same artist that did my dots, Martyna hand poke. It wasn't painful. I mean, it was a little bit painful, it wasn't pleasant, but less painful than the dots. Like, a lot less painful than the dots. And then I got the Friday the 13th tattoo. It's a little umbrella with raining blood and number 13. I got this tattoo in Porto, Portugal. I went there for holidays and we happened to be there during Friday the 13th last year. And Friday the 13th, like flash days, are not a big thing in Poland. They're also actually not a big thing in Portugal, I think. But I just checked if some studios have it, and yeah, just near my Airbnb they happen to have a Friday the 13th walk-in day, and like I got this idea on the day, and I just messaged the artist on Instagram asking if he has time, and he had, and so I went for it. I really like this tattoo, and it's also like a souvenir from holidays, so yeah, it has a double meaning. And at the flash sheet it wasn't colored, and he asked me if I wanted to go for blue or like red drops, and I went for red because I also am a big fan of Slayer, and their most popular, I think, song and also album is Raining Blood, so it's like kind of like a reference to Slayer also. And then I got a snowball tattoo. It's from an artist in my hometown, Wrocław. She's called Candy Ink, and she has like this really beautiful, unique, neo-traditional style, but she put a twist on it that is very recognizable. I wanted a snowball for a long time, and I thought it would be sweet to get something from my city inside, so I went for a bridge in my city. It's very recognizable bridge. I will put a reference photo also here. It wasn't painful, like again closer to my knee ditch. It was a little more painful, and during healing I got this unpleasant sensation that my skin would rip, like with my Disney castle tattoo, but not that intense. I think because it's not that close to my knee ditch. We're almost at the end, so my next tattoo was a Friends tattoo, like Friends the TV show, and it was by Kayle Rutherford, Kayle Glitters on Instagram. She was on my artist bucket list for a very long time also, and I had a London city break planned already, and I thought that when I'm in London I could just ask some of my bucket list artists, I have a few in London, if they had time during the time. I didn't expect them to have, because they are all quite popular artists, but I decided to ask Kayle first, and she happened to have time. She works on Saturdays, and yeah, she had time on Saturday. Oh my god, she's such a cute person. She's so beautiful and so cute. Really, like, it was also really pleasing experience. I really love Friends, the TV show, and I wanted to get something to represent it for a long time, and I thought that Kayle would be a great artist to do that tattoo, and I said that I wanted this dog statue with a duck and a chicken on it, and also, if it would be possible, I wanted to incorporate this frame from Monica's apartment, and Kayle decided to put it on his neck, which I think was brilliant, and it looks really fun. And pain-wise, it wasn't painful, and also Kayle is a very fast artist. It took under 2 hours, I think. And finally, my last tattoo. Oh my god, this video would be so long. And my last tattoo is actually the tattoo that I made a tattoo vlog about getting it, and it's a Mean Girls tattoo by Cocos Pink again. I really love this movie. I mean, yeah, it's a teen movie, but I think it's so brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean, my favorite movie is Pulp Fiction, and so putting Mean Girls like near that, maybe it sounds a bit weird, but I really think that Mean Girls is a masterpiece, and there is a lot of really famous quotes from that movie, and so I didn't know what to go for. Originally I thought about going for So Fetch, but then I thought about Boo You Whore. I was second guessing that because it has the word whore in it, so I might regret that in the future, but I told my artist that I wanted a little ghost with a phone, and Boo Yuhar, and I wanted Boo to be more bold and readable and Yuhar to be like handwriting, so it wasn't like that readable from a distance. So I hope this tattoo will never offend anyone, but also if I do regret it at some point, it would be easy to cover because this handwriting is very small. And if you want to see more detailed story and how I got this tattoo, then you can check out my tattoo vlog. And I think that's it, finally. I'm really sorry about how long this video is, but yeah, turns out I have a lot to say about my tattoos. And if you want to see me making a video about tattoos again, then let me know in the comments, let me know what you would want me to talk about. And if you like that video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos from me, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I will definitely do some tattoo related videos in the future, but my regular content, just so you know, is cross stitching and sewing. But if you're interested in that, then yeah, feel welcomed to my channel. And also, yeah, like I said, there will be more tattoo related videos coming. And yeah, I think that's it for today, so see you in the next one. Bye!